Hello and welcome. It is the 31st day of July. I think it's the 31st day of July. I could be wrong. 2021. It's 11 o'clock. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming, and we have some updates on previous news. Of course, mostly regarding 5th edition / D&D / Wizards of the Coast / D&D Beyond this time, which sort of is indirectly connected to Wizards of the Coast because we can't have nice things in Wizards of the Coast / 5th edition. Can't go 2 days without doing something that is newsworthy. I wish there was something else to talk about. I really do. Okay, so beginning in, I guess, July, Wizards of the Coast / D&D Beyond started a art contest which asked creators to enter D&D themed portrait frames. As with all the D&D Beyond / Wizards of the Coast / contests like this, any and all entries became the property of D&D Beyond, and the winners in return would receive some digital content as prizes. There was backlash. What? Backlash? And therefore, D&D Beyond has canceled the contest because why? I don't know, because you were taking people's art and not giving them anything for it in return, and you owned the entire rights to the art, and they could never ever use the art again, and you could use the art without telling anybody it was their art or giving them any credit for the art. I don't know why anybody would have an issue with that, but apparently somebody did. I can't imagine. Wow. So, and then they're claiming that it's because the prize. Oh, and then the only thing you get is digital content, which if you're on D&D Beyond, you probably already have the D&D Beyond digital contests. Now, we do know that competitions where companies in questions acquire the rights to all the entities are generally frowned upon, but apparently Wizards of the Coast and D&D Beyond and everybody that's associated with them don't think that's a bad thing. Your art, it's mine. I never have to give you credit for it. I don't have to pay you for it, and I never have to say you were the one who made it, and I can use it anytime I want, as many times as I want. And you're okay with that, right? So, yeah, I guess there was some complaints. Some artists and some people were like, no, I want to, be able to use it. They're like, whatever. The contest was canceled. We also have some other Dungeons & Dragons D&D related non-news. So remember a couple days ago when Jeremy Crawford got up on the stage and made that big hullabaloo about content in Dungeons & Dragons / the Forgotten Realms because he had to make a thing out of a thing that was never a thing and nobody cared about until he brought it up. And then people were like, wait a minute, I think that upsets me. Well, not to be outdone, another individual has come forward and tried to explain really what they meant when Crawford went and peacocked and said all this stuff, about D&D canon. Okay, there's no such thing as canon in D&D. There is no epic D&D timeline or sacred D&D timeline. I mean, I know I made fun of it in a previous video about what the Forgotten Realms would be like in reality if every module actually happened the way it happened and was canon. But that was really making fun of the thing because there is no canon in D&D. There never has been. There's no sacred timeline. There's no order that things happen. There's no epic arcing story that was affected by this. There's very little lore in D&D. No two tables play the game the same. No two people experience it the same. And there really is no canon. So for them to come forward and have a press conference, no less, and then say, oh, blah, 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 canon, not canon, was utterly pointless. And it created a situation that didn't need to be created. And people were complaining and people are upset. And it's like, really, dude, this is a non-thing. You don't have canon. So why are you telling us what we can and can't use or what you're going to use and not going to use? Nobody cared yesterday, but now you've made us care. And now people are upset. So now you're upset that we cared. So now you have to have another individual come forward and explain what you meant. So yeah, Mr. Perkins came forward and said, if you're not sure what is canonical in 5th edition, let me give you a quick primer. Strahd sleeps in a coffin. I guess he's being facetious there. Mesobaranzan is an underground drow city. And Zariel is the Archduke of Avernus, at least for now. Conversely, anything that happens during the Acquisition Incorporated live games is not canonical, because it was a game that was just for them. And yeah, of course, we knew that nothing happened in Acquisition Incorporated was canonical to D&D. It was only canonical to the Acquisitions Incorporated game and not anything else, though it was a lot of fun. So yes, the full media briefing is on the Wizards of the Coast page, and there's even a quiz.
Make way for the love train.
About what is not canon. My favorite question is where Modans come from. If you don't know what Modans are, they're this interdimensional race of hyper-intelligent shapes. So there's like square Modans, triangle Modans, circle Modans. They come from some plane. And the question was, where does Modans comes from? And one of the answers was Radio Shack. So as far as I'm concerned, that's where they come from. They come from Radio Shack. So, yeah. So they had to get another person to explain what they meant, what was and was not canon, in regards to what they're going to use going forward. But you don't have to pay any attention to it whatsoever, because what's canon for you is not canon for them. And we at Wizards of the Coast don't want to tell you how to run your game or use our product. Except, of course, you've spent the last year telling us how you think we should play the game, Wizards of the Coast, Jeremy Crawford. But now, I guess, you're telling us we don't have to pay attention to anything you said for the past year, and whatever we want is canon in our world. And if we don't want to have, like, I don't know, Ravenloft, we don't have to. Or if we don't want to have, I don't know, anything that came out after Tasha's, we don't have to, because it's only canon for your product, but it's not canon for us. Is that what I'm supposed to take out of your statement? Because, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm hearing. Basically, you're saying everything we said for the past year doesn't matter. Ignore us. We're not here. Do whatever you want, because it's your table. Yeah, that was always the way until you said it wasn't the way. And now you're saying, oh, yeah, no, actually, it is the way. We're only saying what's canon in regards to our products. So lore that we created at the beginning of the 5th edition storyline is still canon to what's ever going on in 5th edition now. Except, of course, still, and to bring this point to an end, there is no canon in D&D. Perhaps you need to have the definition of canon read to you, so let us go. An escalated rule or enacted by a council of other competent authorities in the Roman Catholic Church approved by the Pope. A body of escalatorial law. A body of rules, principles, or standards accepted as axiomatic and universally binding in a field of study or art. A fundamental principle or general rule. A standard. A book of the Bible recognized by any Christian church as genuine and inspired. That is the definition of canon. Star Wars has canon. Marvel has canon. DC has canon. Game of Thrones has canon. Dungeons & Dragons does not have canon. At least that's my 2 cents, and I could be wrong. This, whatever. Who cares what I think? Anyways, that is some updates on stories going on in the world of role-playing because of stuff. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you don't appreciate this content, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 1,000 subs by, 2025. It seems like a good day. Till then, stay warm, stay dry, stay safe, stay sane, stay quiet. Stay in your lane, and I will talk to you later. I was born in 1966. I guess that means I'm not canon.